Hello, hi, hey, and welcome to Coffee Talks. This week's coffee of choice is the Tacta Squatch blend from my beloved Black Rifle Coffee Company. Please sponsor me. It's free real estate. What do you got to lose? I won't even ask for free coffee that often. Today's video is all about masking. Masking is something you do when you're trying to hide your real self. And it's something that I've realized I've been doing. If you don't know, masking is when you put up a invisible barrier, or an invisible mask to hide your true self from the world for various reasons. So it's easier for you to fit in, and it's easier for you to protect your true self so you don't get hurt. Some reasons for me when it came to masking as to why I decided not to show my true colors. Like I said in the previous video, partially the way I grew up. Like I said, it was, kind of tense in the house, and nobody was just in a good mood all the time. And so I put up that face, that way at least somebody would be, and then hopefully, that good energy, that positivity might just bleed off into the rest of the family, at least a little bit, brighten the mood. And I continued to do that even after all the family issues got sorted out. Because it became a habit, it became my full-time job. It became a part of me, and I didn't even know it because I'd been doing it for so long, ever since I was a kid. Yeah, I've been doing it ever since I was a kid. And in some ways, I wasn't just doing it for the sake of brightening up the family. I was also doing it so that way, no matter what struggles I was going through, I wouldn't let my friends or family see it. It's like somebody had to be the strong one. Somebody had to be the one that was the beacon of light. The one that just had to carry the weight of the world on his shoulders and not show it. And for some reason, I felt like that had to be me. And that I couldn't let anybody know that, I was feeling like shit. Whether it be depression, just thoughts, sadness, whatever. Like, I felt like I couldn't show anybody. Not because I was afraid to be weak around them, but because I felt like somebody needed to be strong for them. But that just drained me. It drained me a lot. Especially because I carried that for years. I don't even know how long, to be honest with you. But I carried that for years. Like, when I still lived with my mom, I remember there were nights I would come home from the gym, and I would be in kind of a mood or tone like how I am now. Like, I wasn't sad, I wasn't angry, I was just neutral. I mean, well, granted, at that time I was a little sad and like heavily depressed, but I remember sitting in my car for a few minutes and then walking to the front door and just standing there and going, all right, get your game face on, and just, hey guys, as if I wasn't already 18, 19, probably even just turned 20. And I was still putting on a mask just that way my family wouldn't see anything that was going on in my life. And You already know what I'm about to say. That's not healthy. Because it's not. You're faking who you are. You may not be being entirely fake as a person, but you're not being your true self. And I'm trying to come more into being my true self. The parts of myself that I have suppressed for a while because they haven't necessarily fit into the norms of, traditional families and all that kind of stuff. Not to say that I have a traditional family. Like when it comes to my mom, sister, and I, we're not really traditional. But my mom's family, they're fresh off the boat from Europe kind of thing. So they're pretty traditional. Like when my sister got a couple piercings and a couple tattoos, they were like, oh, look at her, that kind of thing. And because where they come from, tattoos and things like that are basically like, oh, they were in prison. Whereas over here, it's a lot more normalized. And even though I've got like 4 tattoos myself, part of me, I felt like I couldn't get the tattoos that I wanted because in a way I felt like I would be judged for getting the tattoos that I wanted, for showing who I really was. And that's another reason why I held up the mask for so long, because this, again, I sound just monotone, not so much monotone, but I just sound somber. Like some people would say, yo, you're dead inside. Whereas I'm not. This is just neutral. And I felt like I had to play up that energetic side of me, just that way somebody wouldn't think, oh, hey, why are you so depressed? Or like, I have a resting bitch face, and so like, if I'm driving the forklift around work, I'll just be like that. And I've had people ask me at my old job, just like, are you okay? Why are you mad? I'm like, I'm not mad. I'm just doing my thing. Like, what do you gotta assume I'm mad, yo? And so that's another reason. People would always be like, are you okay? Are you mad? What's wrong? Nothing's wrong. This is just my face. Leave me alone. And so another reason I held up the mask is because people would always constantly assume something's wrong with me, just by the look of my face in my natural state of being. And so that, in combination with, just years of bullshit, it made me feel like I couldn't be me. Because this version of me is not traditionally socially acceptable. It's not, hey guys, how are you doing today? It's just, yo, what's up? How you doing? Like in a way, I felt like I had to like play up that young, youthful, sporadic. I don't know if sporadic's the right word, but like I had to play that up just to seem normal. And I think I mentioned this last video too. When I first started this channel, I had kind of taken the mask off for the first time, and I've come to take it off again because it went back on without realizing it, because that's just how coping mechanisms work. They're there with whether you realize it or not. A large part of the reason that I wore the mask is because I didn't feel accepted. And because I didn't feel accepted, I felt like I couldn't accept myself. Like, a large part of my aesthetic, or not necessarily a large part, let me rephrase. Part of the aesthetic I'm drawn to is like traditionally darker things, like a little more gothic. Like, I've got a skull with steampunk goggles on my desk, Like, I used to wear a skull ring back in middle school. Like, I want like an all black sleeve of tattoos, that kind of thing. But when you start incorporating those things into your aesthetic, people assume that something's wrong with you because, oh, that's so dark. Is he okay? Why is he not bright and cheerful? It's like, why do you assume I'm not bright and cheerful just because I have a dark aesthetic? And I'm starting to embrace that side of myself more, because that is a part of myself I've neglected for a very long time. And I feel like I shouldn't have, because the people in my life are going to accept me for who I am. And it's time that I accept myself for who I am. If that's, getting a gothic style whole sleeve on my right arm, then I'm going to do that. I'm going to do it. If it's, just wearing darker clothes because that's what's comfortable for me, I'm going to do that. I mean, right now, my comfort clothes are cargo pants and combat boots. Like, I kid you not. Oh yeah, I was supposed to hang out with one of my friends for Labor Day weekend, or, on Labor Day. And I just wasn't feeling good, like, physically. I'd gotten, 2 hours of sleep, and I really wasn't feeling going on a hike. And so I just stayed home, but, I was dressed for hiking. And so, I just needed a rest day. I needed a comfort day. And for some reason, when it comes to me, my comfort clothes of choice, which I happen to already be wearing, are combat boots and cargo pants. I don't know why. That's just how it is for me. Like, I told somebody, whenever, most of the time when I'm not at work, I wear combat boots. And like, combat boots? Why? It's like, because it's comfortable. I like them. What about them? Like, why is that strange? A lot of people wear combat boots because they're comfy. And they suit my style. They suit what I like. It's like, dude, I ride motorcycles. You really think I'm not gonna wear fucking combat boots? And so, it's just, I'm trying to embrace myself. Embrace who I really am. Which, the goal of this channel, the goal of these videos, to do that for myself and other people. And it's realizing what embracing yourself means. It means going back to those sides of you that you've neglected for years. And embracing that as a part of who you are. Like I said, I used to wear just skulls and all that kind of thing, which isn't socially acceptable to a lot of people, but it's me. And so I'm going to start wearing that kind of stuff more. If I want to get a whole sleeve of tattoos, I'm going to get a whole sleeve of tattoos. If I want to change my appearance, I'm going to change my appearance. Yeah, I'm accepting who I am a lot more. And I feel like that's a good thing. And in order to accept yourself, you got to take off the mask. Because a lot of times you don't know you're wearing the mask. A lot of times you don't know you're wearing the mask. Until you take it off. And then you look in the mirror, you're like, I recognize that person now. Now I know who that is. Good to see you again, you son of a bitch. That kind of thing. And wearing the mask it also ties into depression a little bit, because when you put up that front for so long, you just get tired. You get tired, you get worn out, your battery is drained. And something Jim Carrey said on an interview somewhere, he said, like, this is something I can relate to me pertaining to this circumstance. He said, sadness is due to circumstance, what happens in your life. Depression is your body saying, I'm tired of playing this character. And in a way, depression, just like depressed, means deep rest. Your body needs to rest from playing the front. And so I'm just not gonna put up the front anymore. I'm not gonna crank the personality up to a 13 just for the sake of trying to seem normal, because that didn't work. Everybody I've talked to about this, they were just like, yeah, we knew you weren't being yourself. And again, it's like, cool, was anybody gonna tell me? But my best friend, actually, she told me like 3 years ago, and I didn't even realize it because I was so heavily like entranced in that character that I wasn't, that I didn't know I wasn't being myself. You know, she's been right there with me through my darkest times, and so she knew who I really was. And you know, this was back when I was 19. Like, her and I had like a quick conversation, and she said something along the lines of, you know, you're not being you. And I didn't realize that I wasn't. I was like, what are you talking about? I am being me. This is me. Like, you clearly just didn't know me that well. Whereas, no, she knew me. She knew me a lot better than I thought she did at that point in time. And she told me, you know, she was like, you're not being you. And I didn't know that I wasn't being me. And then I talked to other people around me who've known me for years. They're like, yeah, we knew. And another thing, she actually told me recently, like when I brought this topic up to her again, she was saying, yeah, it's kind of hard to talk about that to the person that's masking, because you don't really want to tell the person that's hiding something that they're doing a shit job at hiding something, you know, because it's just going to make them feel worse about it, which is kind of understandable. And in certain ways, you got to figure this out on your own. You gotta figure out who you are on your own. There's this, I think it's a Japanese proverb. A person wears 3 masks. The mask he shows to those in the public, the mask he shows to his friends and family, and the mask that only he sees. I think I'm down to that final mask, but it's not even really a mask, it's just my face. I think I'm down to that final layer, and I think I'm at the point where I don't care who sees me. Because like I said earlier, the people that are going to accept me for who I am, those are the ones I need in my life. If you can't accept me for me, then screw off. Then you don't need to be around. Why would I keep somebody around that doesn't want me for me? You know? I didn't want me for years. And I hated myself for years because of that. I'm not going to tolerate that from anybody else anymore. Now, granted, I'm not going to go out and do something crazy. I'm not going to go get face tattoos or anything like that. And I'm not going to like try to look like Post Malone, even though he is my doppelganger, apparently, from what I've been told by everybody. Like, my nickname at work is Pre-Malone. I don't see the resemblance, but like, hey, Post Malone, if you watching this, like, what's up, bro? I'm your twin, apparently. What's poppin'? Damn it, I lost my train of thought again. The ADHD, or whatever it is, just, whatever. Yeah, I'm not gonna go get face tattoos or anything like that. When I started getting tattoos, my grandmother, she called me, she was like, you know, it's fine that you're getting tattoos, I don't care, but please, no tattoos on your face. I'm like, okay, Babushka, I could promise no tattoos on my face. And she's like, and no tattoos on your neck. I'm like, I could promise no tattoos on my neck. And so other than that, you know, I think my fear of not being accepted by that side of the family for like being covered in tattoos, I think that fear was unjustified. Because in reality, I think I was just afraid of being myself. In some ways, I think I was just scared of myself because I didn't know myself. I left part of myself in the dark for so long that I didn't know like what it was. I neglected part of myself for years just because I felt like it was better to try and be somebody else than it was to be me. Because, you know, sometimes in the past, being myself got me hurt, but that's part of life, and I shouldn't be scared of that. Whereas, trying to be somebody else, I mean, that's never going to end well, you know, because I'm not being me. And I'm going to try to be me more often. Starting last week, when I dropped the mask yet again. And it's weird when you drop the mask because it feels like you come out of hypnosis, which is oddly strange, but it's I don't know how to explain it. I don't know. I feel like I'm kind of a spiritual person in a way. And so like it felt like the blindfold got taken off, and I don't know, it just felt like I came out of some sort of weird like trance. I don't know how to describe it. You know, I'm trying not to let the overthinking side of myself take over and be like, somebody put a hex on you or something like that. I'm trying to let that part of me not take over, because that's just overthinking and paranoia, which I've done enough of my life. I don't need any more of either of those things. And so it's just being me now. That's all it is. So, anyway, thank you for watching. I've had to mess with my camera 2 times while recording this, and I would really like for there to not be a third, because I'm pretty sure the camera's at the wrong angle now. So I will call it an episode, and I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye now.